in Magic, there's nothing that people love more than the word stop. They just can't get enough of this word. I hear it almost daily in my life. But in Magic, people love the stop trick. And this is one hot version of it that I think you guys will dig. So you have a deck of cards that's mixed and shuffled to your heart's content here. You could really shuffle up these bad boys as much as you want. Just really go in on these cards. Show these cards that, you know, this is the white part of town, if you know what I mean. You can't be walking around here where you want to, boy. So after this, you have the spectator touch any card they want, and of course they do. And you promptly tell that card to go fuck itself. And then the spectator touches another card, which isn't a dirty, disgusting piece of shit. This case is the Jack of Diamonds. So this card is surreptitiously put in the middle of the deck here to be lost forevermore among the other cards. And as a matter of fact, you get these cards a little bit more of a mixing, as they say in the dark part of town. And you tell the spectator that you know what, I'm not gonna do any work for this trick. They're gonna do all the work that's needed to be done for this one. So you sir, think long and hard and just name a number between 1 and 20. And they say 1, and you go, yeah, was that your card? And they say no. Then how about you think of a number between 1 and 20? You cunt. They say this time 10, and you go, you know what? That's a great number here, sir. So we'll count this one right here as number 1. This wasn't your card, obviously. So that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6, that's 7, that's 8, that's 9, and that would be 10, sir. Now, you happen not to have seen your card anywhere here, correct? And they, of course, say, that's correct, Mr. Magic. And you go, well, I'll tell you what, let's look at 11. Did you see a card there or here? As a matter of fact, sir, I don't think you see a card anywhere here because you have managed to intuit exactly where your card is. Exactly where your card is. Yeah, the stop trick is one that's a hot bit in Magic. This is not mine. I wish this was mine. I don't have the penile capacity for this sort of Magic ingenuity. This is our boy and yours, Christ. No, not Jesus Christ. Henry Christ, who came up with this brilliant method here as to do the classic stop trick. So this is the Henry Christ stop trick here. You could find this in your local book. I'll leave it in the comment below, where you too could never touch a pussy. So here's how to do this. If you haven't figured it out, you have a card selected here, and the card gets controlled to the top in whatever way you want. Again, my favorite way is I just stick it in the back. I just stick it in the back here. I stick it inside, even if they don't want it, and I put pressure with my thumb over here. You notice how I put downward pressure, which creates a little bit of a gap there, which is just enough for my pinky to go in between there and have a break between those two halves. Again, you don't want to do this and make this too obvious. And then make a, you know, your mother gap there, because you know how wide she could get, but you want to have a little bit of a gap there, and that card gets controlled right to the top of the deck here. So their card is right on top. Now all I need to do is put one card on top of this card, and I'm ready to go. So I just drop one card from the bottom on the top there, and maybe do a false cut to the table, but ultimately you just want to have their card second from the top of the deck here, and you're ready to go. So I'm gonna leave that card actually face up just for explanation's sake. So you have the spectator name any number between 1 and 20. I do this because, again, you don't want to deal, you don't want to have to deal through more than that. If not, they'll doze off, the Comtrex and the drugs. So and they name any number between 1 and 20. You go, that's great. Okay, let's say they say 10. What you're going to do is turn the top card over, and as you do this, you're going to get a break below the second card in the deck and say, that wasn't your card, right? Of course, it's going to say, no, that was not my card, Magic Boy. But here, what you've done now is you have a break underneath the second card from the deck here. So you're just going to reach into that break and pull these 2 cards back as one. Now, of course, you want to make sure that you're square all around and you're not flashing anywhere, because then that'll kind of tip the method. So their card is technically face down here underneath this cover card here. So you count that card as 1. You're going to peel off and reach into this gap and put that right on top of this card and count that as 2. And then as 3. You see what's happening here. 4, 5, 6, until they say 10, right? So that's 6, it's 7, that's 8, that's 9, and lastly, this card is a 10th card. So you're going to say to them, sir, you didn't happen to see any of your card among these cards. Of course, what am I doing? I'm pushing this half right here, squaring it up with the rest of the deck, which puts their selected card at the position. So you see, this is the original 10th card. But by pushing these cards, you now have a hot, sneaky method where this is now their actual card in the 10th position. You see the hotness here? Let's just give a little bit of remembrance to Henry Chrisp here, a great card man by any standard today. So that's the force there. That's the way of getting their card to that position. So of course this also works as a force. So imagine if you have this card over here. The force card is going to be second from the top of the deck. You pull this back. You have the spectator call stop anytime they want, and then you ask them, hey, sir, you didn't happen to see any duplicate cards here, right? Great. Well, do me a favor, peek at that card, and of course that's the force card. So this works as a stop trick. This works as a force. It's a lot of hot techniques used in this little bit of a trick. So you practice that well. Again, it's not really a hard technique to do. The only thing is that you want to make sure you're as square as possible. You're more square than your Aunt Myrtle, because she's as square as they could be, as they say. So that's the trick. You guys practice it. You guys give all the credit where it's due here to Henry Chrisp for not only dying for your sins, but also giving us a very clever card trick. I'm going to go figure out different ways to try to insert my penis inside of the little gap on top of a piggy bank. It's kind of thin. It's like wafer sized. So I'm going to try to see how I could do that in a way that does not damage my ability to reproduce.
Again, when I see you 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 again.